Number 8. Magneto versus Tetsuo.
Okay.
Bit higher than how I had it on my list.
I know you hate that episode of A Burning Passion.
Okay, then. No, that's not true at all, alright?
I'm exaggerating.
So why don't you guys say where you put it first, and depending on who's lowest, then they'll explain.
Number 3.
Okay.
15.
Mate,
Okay.
what the fuck?
Okay, yeah, mate is a little bit crueler in this case, I won't lie. I think he should go first, because at least I
Two
know...
of the episodes I have in my top 5 are your lowest. Really?
Hey, some episodes gravitate to others. Then... Well, you get the idea.
Clearly, you're trying to pull some bullshit and attract it to you. Magnet jokes.
Okay, in mate's case,
I didn't
though,
even think
Sean,
about that.
he doesn't branch out when it comes to other medias than you and I do. So you know what? There's a lot of episodes this season which I've never watched at, so I'm not going to be as hyped for it.
I mean, I still enjoy the episode.
Yeah, so there you go.
I just like the others just that little bit more.
But yeah, mate, you've got a lot to explain in Sean's case, because I can already see him pushing the nuke button on our asses, and since I'm in the same country as you, I kind of want to live.
Okay, so like I said with Jonathan Tanjiro, the emotional endings they try and go for some episodes can be a bit hit or miss for me. This one, I did like a bit more, but it still didn't really hit me, if you get what I'm saying.
Not really, no.
And honestly, I don't know really what to say other than I just enjoyed the other episodes a bit more. Like, I don't think this episode was bad, I was just like... Oh, yeah. It was alright. I don't know what else you want me to really say.
Akira fans, listen, he has not seen the movie yet. Just give him some credit. One day he will, I'm sure. I guess, yeah, that's all you had to say. Should I give my forte?
Yeah, please.
Why I have it? Okay, so
where'd you have it?
I have it at 13. Now, maybe a very episode I don't look fondly on, which was both my review about this episode when we did last discuss Death Battle. I'm not really proud of how I was in that episode, because I was clearly bitter over the fact that when Tetsuo was announced, I never knew anything about Akira. Then I finally watched it on Netflix, and it's one of those movies that has that most liked recommendation on it. Of course, looking up its history, it was the most influential anime movie out there. It pretty much, because of that movie's success in America and Europe, it made the way for future animes to come to this country. Dragon Ball, Naruto. And after watching it, I can see why. It is phenomenal. Great commentary, great characters, fantastic art style. Of course, when a really great villain like Tetsuo was introduced into Death Battle, I was like, okay then, this is a really interesting character. Are they going to do him justice? Analysis-wise, not too great. Sure, they went over his story, his powers, and yeah, that's what Death Battle is mainly supposed to do when it is in characters. But in the past, when they talk about big names that come into the series, they give them a lot of hype for it. I feel like for Tetsuo to be the introduction, or let's be real, I don't really think anyone else from Akira is going to be joining Death Battle. Tetsuo is like, the only character I see. I just don't think they really did him justice in the analysis. And originally that was going to be at the bottom of my list. I even kind of said in my review, I thought this episode was going to be the worst this season. I don't look fondly back on that episode. When I went back to rewatch this, even after the season was over, I actually really liked this episode just for mostly the fight alone. Because one, yeah, I like Tetsuo. He's a really great villain. and on his English voice actor, really spot on to the English dub. And Magneto, it gave me more respect for the guy. Showed me that, yeah, he's definitely a much more deeper villain than just humans must die because they're dickheads. You know, there was actually a bit more character, and the fact they went over how he went for a redemption arc, become an anti-villain, because he still does, like, go against the Avengers now and then. So, I don't know, it's kind of on the fence about what side he's really on in future comic books.
Well, that and, you know, comic book status quo.
I suppose. As for the fight itself, yeah, it was pretty good. Obviously, the memorable bit for me was the music was really great. And I even just liked... okay, so the emotional bit that makes sense was just meh.
Okay, I never said meh.
Pretty much did.
Hey, don't you put shit in my mouth, Billy.
Okay, then, well, okay, you said it didn't... It was okay, well, you kind of... It was weird with your explanation. I wasn't sure how to take it. Okay, well...
They just isn't sure with certain times when they do emotional endings. Pretty much.
Okay, well,
basically,
so,
but
okay,
I liked this one a bit more than Tanjiro Jonathan.
Okay, then. Let me rephrase that then. He was unsure what to feel as, but he was looking at it a bit more positively. You know, there was just a shorter term for it. Now, but of course, for me, this did both these characters justice, because I even saw this in a comment that was really good, how Magneto was losing hope in the fight when his mind was being attacked by Tetsuo. But the moment Tetsuo is in pain saying, "Help me," like from the movie, that's when Magneto decided to be more serious. And when the music started kicking up and he started fighting more seriously, like with blades, and then even hitting him with that same power he used to conceal... What was it he concealed again? The Big Bang in the comic?
Yeah, proton collapse or something like that.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice because the callback, because Nagura, yeah, they do say, at least in the English dub, I can't remember if they did it in the Japanese dub, but yeah, he was essentially creating his own universe, so both a callback to both characters. And of course, as much as the death wasn't brutal, except for when his big old monster baby form got split in half, that's, that was brutal. Where Tetsuo died and said thank you, and Magneto was really down about what he did, but goes, "You're welcome." Really, and I feel like the acting was much better there when it came to the emotional scene and Jonathan and Tanjiro, because the reason Jonathan, they made him too cartoony, especially with the tears coming down his eyes. So in this case, they didn't do that. They just had Magneto just look away and just say, "You're welcome." It was simple, but I feel like it was much more emotional. And yeah, someone who really liked the movie, I felt like they did him justice in the fight. Just the analysis bit, there was nothing memorable in the analysis, and I don't know, just didn't do his character justice, hence why I have it pretty far down. If we were just judging based on just the fight alone, it would probably be in the top 10 for me, at least. As a whole, it was just a okay episode. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so why do I have this as number 3?
Because you put it there.
Well, what are the reasons I put it there? I guess it's the better term, right, Billy?
I'm sorry, I just had to.
So,
I mean, Billy, you would know about an episode you had at number 3 being put low.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Well, first of all, it did something really cool with Magneto. It portrayed him more his human side than just like this whole tyrant, hungry villain that a lot of comic book fans know him as. Throughout the analysis, even the fight, not Dante Bosco, what was his name? Eric Bosco?
Edward
Bosco. He did fantastic with Magneto. He got the tone and the mannerisms and even the voice of Magneto down really well. I'm glad he came back after Magneto was in DBX. I think
my dog disagrees.
Well,
did you hear the barking in the background?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, Barbara, but you're not in the latch just yet.
Even when I'm on the second floor of my new house, my dog is like, "I'll cameo one way or another."
Okay. So Tetsuo's analysis, I liked it. It was cool to see it because I wasn't that familiar with Akira that much. Really cool, and I think they focus a lot also on the manga as well. Because even in the post-analysis, they had to say, it's not really a Big Bang because it wasn't in the original, source material and everything. And the manga actually looked really well made.
I haven't read the manga, just the film, and I do recommend people go watch the film. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and this was playing Tetsuo was Joshua Waters, who most people would know as Wally West. And I thought he was, like Bill said, I thought he was really good as Tetsuo. The fight! Oh boy, this was a fun one. They used the environment with their powers so well. The dialogue and banter between the two, I loved it. Ego Death, which is the soundtrack of this, works so well with this animation.
Definitely blended more. In my opinion, I feel like it blended more of Akira's themes than it did X-Men. But people do say they can sort of hear like the X-Men theme tune. I haven't heard it, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, that's kind of like towards the end of it, I feel like.
Right, okay.
Speaking of towards the ending of the fight, that whole giant mutated form of Tetsuo was done by Zach, and I remember seeing the behind-the-scenes video on his YouTube channel about it, and it looked amazing. And also kind of horrifying, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, even though in the analysis they kind of didn't really talk about the hideous design and animation of this thing. At least in the animation, they showed why this is such an iconic thing that gets parodied everywhere.
Yeah, and the ending to this is so in character for Magneto, and the best emotional ending out of the three that we got, as far as, a sad ending, to be honest.
Bittersweet, more accurate.
Yeah. And they really showed that Tetsuo stood a better chance than anybody in the community gave him for. Oh god, someone's loading something because they disagree? Jesus Christ!
Jesus, yeah, I thought I heard a shotgun clock in then.
Sorry,
Barbara's got the gun.
Sorry, I was playing with a coin and dropped it.
It's just the coin, thank god.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke, but no, it's Sean's time, so...
Okay. I think overall this one did a really good job, and we finally got Magneto in Death Battle after thinking so many years, who is the one for Magneto?
Oh,
and it got
so long.
And it just works very well this season. And with this episode in particular, that, who better than one of the original big bad guys of anime in Tetsuo?
Also, fun fact, this was also planned to happen last season, but it had to be pushed back.
I think with, how it turned out in the end, I think it was worth the extra season wait.
Yeah.
Just makes me curious what episode took its place.
The question. We've almost had the classic evil mutants in Death Battle. The only people we really need left are Sabretooth and Juggernaut. Then that's it. I know the Legion of Evil Mutants has more members, but let's be real here.
Brotherhood.
We only know the classic five: Sabretooth, Magneto, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Juggernaut. I'm sure they have other iconic ones, but those are the five I always think of first.
If Juggernaut gets in Death Battle, he's probably either going to fight Archie, Knuckles, or Hermione.
Well,
hopefully not Hermione.
As someone who's seen the X-Men, I think definitely, besides, obviously Juggernaut, the person I would put before Sabretooth obviously is Jean Grey.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to X-Men characters, then yeah, Jean Grey is definitely another iconic one that needs to be in. They've always teased how powerful the Phoenix Force is, so let's actually finally see it in full action for new viewers.
Yeah, I'd be down. They did almost have Phoenix go up against Raven. Because Phoenix, Raven, lol.
Yeah.
Okay, there was
they
more
didn't
to it than
almost do
that.
That was just a request they saw for Raven. then they just went with Twilight because they thought, that's the fight where Raven stands the best chance.
Let's just pony on up and get to number 7.
Yeah.
Nice. Although, since you decided to use ponies for that, boy, this is a tone shift. Number 7, Omni-Man versus Homelander.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I am pissed. I am legit pissed off.
I have it as number 8.
I have it as number 1. This is my top 10 favorite episode this season.
May, what about you?
12.
Ooh.
These people do not have good taste. I'm just saying that now.
I
am
have
legit
legitimate
pissed.
reasons for why I have it where it is, but May, why don't you start?
I will just say, animation, fucking gorgeous. Like, of all the hand-drawn fights we have, this is by far the best looking. Like, no contest. Track, I really like it. It's super catchy. I like the reference that they throw in with Omni-Man holding Homelander's head like he did Mark. Where there's a plane coming at them, and he uses Homelander uses heat vision to like split like he does in The Boys. Like, that's a really clever fusion of the two scenes. And Jesus, that death! Oh god.
I think we can all agree on one thing. Best death of the season.
Definitely most brutal. Like, no doubt. Although I will say, absolutely deserved. Because, it's Homelander, screw him. Oh, and the other highlight I have is just, mostly it just comes from watching reaction videos when they get to that Homelander feat. You know the one.
The hell?
Fun fact, that was actually labeled in the research meeting as Homelander's best strength feat.
Yeah, I remember they said that on the Death Battle cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bill's just preparing his argument for why this is number 1.
I am just thinking of all the horrible ways that I should blow up a continent to repress my rage.
Hey, to be fair, you had episodes I liked low, so it evens out.
Yeah,
fair enough. Like, I'm just saying, next Among Us session, I know whose target is big and red for me.
But aside from that, really, it's just like, I just like the other episodes that little bit more, and I don't know, I feel like there is more they could have done if they did go into a bit more of like because I know they went into this episode as just like, okay, we're just gonna cover the shows. It's just a grab I have with like people like and spoilers and stuff, and it just leaves me a bit confused. Okay, so that you can't spoil, but this you can.
Well, in their defense, would it even matter?
No, it would not. I'm just legitimately curious.
Okay, I definitely have some counter arguments to that for when I get to my point.
Yeah, it really just comes down to, like I said, I just enjoyed the other episodes a bit more. So, any of you want to take over?
Since Sean had it low as well, I guess let him
I
have
think
it.
making it in the top 8 is a good thing. Oh, obviously, this episode, I believe, is still the most viewed of the season. I could be wrong on that.
Oh, it is. It's definitely the most viewed.
So, starting off with some of the positives I had for this was obviously the analysis made Omni-Man seem like more human towards its end, which I thought was a nice touch. They made Homelander just sound like an absolute dick, but you know, that's what you want in a good villain. And the fight, I will agree, it was gorgeous. The soundtrack, I think, is good on its own. With the fight, not really.
Really?
Yeah, because like it's a lyrical track, and it's just like I can't really hear the lyrics that well with everything going on. I think on its own, Diabolically Invincible Me is really solid, even though it has a long-ass name.
That's the only thing I will agree, that the title of the track is awful. If it literally just called it
Diabolically Invincible Me.
If they just called it Diabolical Me, I think that would have been fine. I kind of feel that as like, one, it's talking about Omni-Man, but it also could be like Homelander in a mocking tone. He's describing that Diabolical Me, except in his character.
Oh, other positive things that, you know, I feel like definitely helped this episode, of course, is its animation. The RT department did a really good job on Omni-Man and Homelander's designs. Like, when that preview came out on cast, people legitimately thought they got the Invincible animators to do this.
Yeah, that was insane.
And speaking of Invincible, this is probably Tom's best performance as Omni-Man.
Yeah, for a moment, I really thought they got his original actor back. He was just that good.
Yeah, he really did sound fantastic with this. And I like the idea more so of making Homelander his comic book like bulky self compared to the Zachary Star live action self. Because don't get me wrong, that is iconic itself, but doing it in the comic book style I think works a lot better for this episode.
Comic book style, but they gave him like the actual like outfit from the show.
As it matched with Omni-Man's like Amazon animation style.
I feel like, you know, mate, you did bring up a valid point in saying, you know, they couldn't really go that much into spoilers, but with this kind of result, I don't think it affects that much. I would understand it more if you definitely feel like it would make the fight closer or make it seem like out of some miracle Homelander wins.
Oh, no. I just mean in terms of like, I don't know, there could have been a bit more to like talking about their stories.
I also feel like that I think a comment actually pointed this out, like in that ending shot in particular, like with the fire in the background towards the end of that fight, that looks sick as hell.
Oh yeah, I'll give it that too.
And the only flaw, like with the fight itself, if I had to say there was one, was just them going through the houses. I wasn't that big on, like, just the red and blue line just going straight through. And also the face in the pavement. It just seemed like Omni-Man just really didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that is how he would actually fight. He has been in like comic situations where he is just being grinded against a wall or floor, and he's just like pathetic. It's just like, wow, this is meant to hurt me. And it's meant to be him mocking them, like they're trying so hard to hurt him, yet it's just not working.
Yeah, it's comedic, but honestly, like I said, the biggest flaw with if I had to say like my biggest like negative on the animation is just that whole like, you see two lines go through houses scene. That's about it. The post-analysis definitely painted this as, you know, one-sided for sure, but they gave a decent amount of respect to Homelander, which I can appreciate. And, you know, compared to everything else I have above this, it's not that bad that all those episodes beat out this one with the little bit of flaws I have. You know, I think it's a solid choice. And if you have it as number one like Bill does, so, you know, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bill...
Well, actually, sorry. I just realized another highlight I have from this episode. Just the way they use the RT Animated Adventures Texas for the meteor. I just Texas with the hat, the rockets, and the two revolvers. Like, that makes me laugh every time.
You gotta love those stereotypes for Texas. But anyway... Bill, go ahead.
Okay, so you remember in the first part where Sean's saying this is going to be a controversial list? Yes, because in a majority of lists and tiers, this is mostly at the top. Even for me, because this episode has everything, if you're an Omni-Man or Homelander fan or just a fan of both these series. But like, first of all, Mate brought up how there wasn't much to go on about in the analysis. I wish more was revealed. He literally covered everything about Homelander aside what happened to him at the end of the story. And same with Omni-Man. Everything that was covered for him was pretty much all you needed to know, because the other bit is just what happened to him at the end of the Invincible story. Oh, that, yeah, because now here's the thing, I have read the Invincible comics after I watched the TV show, but as for the boys comics, I watched a video that covered the entire story, and I can say I'm not a fan of it. I definitely prefer the show's version.
Yeah, that would have been another thing I would have said, like, at least in terms of, like, talking about, like, the boys stuff. Like, the show's going in a different direction from the comics, so... Yeah. I don't know, I feel like there could have been some things you could bring up.
Did. The only thing I didn't bring up is what happened with the boys' characters with a certain thing that happened in Season 3. They covered everything about Homelander. But I really don't understand that criticism. I think that's a very weird criticism, to be honest. Definitely think if May watched The Boys and Invincible, maybe he would have wouldn't be as confused. And the other thing as well is like the character is like the analysis itself was entertaining, just learning all the fucked up things. Like this episode goes to show what happens when these comic book characters are put in a much more grittier and realistic setting. Given their bring-ups, yeah. In the world they come from, they may do some fucked up shit. In Homelander's case, he's meant to represent, a person who thinks he's invincible. Ironic, given he fought against someone's son who's named that. And Omni-Man is literally that person. He is so powerful, no one can challenge him. Of course, given the hype that these shows were bringing out the year it came out, of course people were hyped to see them clash. And even Amazon were even making fun of the fact, like, yeah, Homelander's fucked. Everyone was on board of that. They just wanted to see Homelander die because he's so horrible, the things he does. Rape, murder, pedophilia. He's a horrible person. In the Season 3 of The Boys, he made a girl commit suicide by telling her to jump.
I have seen that clip.
Like, as Omni-Man, they didn't spoil what happened to make him become a better person. They do go with the fact he became more human than Viltrumite. But that's when you're rooting for this guy, because it's like, yeah, he'd done horrible things. But when you know the context that he's from a evil army that are on conquering worlds, then he finally wanted to branch away from that. It makes him a much more redeemable villain than a lot of villains from Marvel and DC, to be honest. As for the fight itself, fucking awesome. Because it literally starts off with Homelander mocking Omni-Man and teasing the fact he just killed his wife, and Omni-Man goes John Wick because how he says it in the show is that he saw his wife as a pet. Just because he saw her as a pet doesn't mean he's not going to be pissed off seeing her die. And just the bit where he just breathes in and goes, "I'm going to feed you your own heart." Just right there and there, I was like, that's Omni-Man. Just so many lines in this were just great. Country? I'm not here for your country. The Homelander just going, get the fuck out of my country. Brilliant. And even Omni-Man taunting him, saying like, what it's like to be hit by someone your own size. You have to turn with the punch to reduce it. And Homelander's just like holding his broken nose, and Omni-Man's just like, better. Like, just so much Chad energy from that. It's like Homelander breaking down, like almost like a crying child. Stop it! After I'm done with you, I'm gonna flash fry that shit son of yours. It was brilliant. You see the moment he brought up his son, Omni-Man was like, you're fucking dead. I would have gladly just snapped your neck, but nah. I'm gonna make remember what I promised you, pretty much. And the lyrics to this song, hands down the best. Like, because even the music really goes to show why Omni-Man's great. Like this lyric here, you feel the threat because every step is like a mountain moving. struck out like a match outstanding that you think you can beat me. And my favourite one, knocked out, your jaws on the ground, but was there any doubt it would end this way? Just like, it's like a horror. Funny enough, this music is scarier than Jason versus Michael Myers one.
Accurate.
It really feels like Omni-Man's. This feels like a letter to Homelander saying, "Yeah, I am a mountain moving compared to you."
I wonder, is that less spoilery than what Samurai Jack vs. Afro Samurai's track did?
No. This is full on spoilers because obviously I feel like that's why they drowned it out a lot in the actual fight. Because if you listen to this on SoundCloud, you can hear it much more clearer than you can in the fight. Because I think that was done on purpose. Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Now, when you read this, it's so good. Like, I can tell the person who was writing this song was having a blast. I've listened to this probably more than Princess of Pride. Not for the same reasons. Princess of Pride gives me that. Oh,
I did want to say this because Brandon pointed this out. This is his first ever death battle track that hit over 1 million views.
This is the most viewed soundtrack on YouTube with Death Battle. It really goes to show, yeah, people loved this episode. Okay, Princess of Pride and Diabolical. There's for me different tones, like, you know, Princess of Pride is meant to be more like action, superhero mixed with Dragon Ball.
Viking Rock.
This one's meant to be more or less catching the theme of the dark theme of both The Boys and Invincible, while also still sounding like a menacing villain song. Well, there is a villain song I'm looking forward to talk about when we talk about this episode. No, it's not in the spots that I want it to be in. I'm just gonna say, these two won't be eating their own heart. The poor lady down the other end of the road will. I'll take my frustration out on her. I don't want to drag on this too long because I could praise this episode from beginning to end. It's a fantastic episode. Deserves to be at number 1. And okay, look, people, it is their opinion. I do respect it. Do I have to like it? Fuck no.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you respect our opinions, you can say whatever you want.
I think they have bad taste? Absolutely. In fact, I'm already looking through potential replacements for next year's lads. Well, technically this year's lads, because I guess we are kind of more way through the beginning of the year.
Look here, expect that phone call.
Here and I don't know, Steve the Elephant, you may be next.
Also, Billy, after that Among Us game, can you really say you're looking into replacements?
Oh, shit.
Hey, are you gonna replace me? I mean, lads is my thing, I mean...
Remember what you said in that Among Us session? That if I went on to win, which I did...
Flashback.
I think I managed to dupe Sean like twice.
I've duped him 5 times.
Josh.
Seems like you're making 3.
Indeed.
Seems like you're making it 3.
Mate, mate, here's a wager. If you win this, you're the new official host of Lads Discuss Death Battle.
Soon after.
We might need to adjust it.
No,
Maybe
Sean,
adjusting the
please.
settings to the
Sean,
right thing.
please. No.
Can't find it.
You're the...
Long live the king. End of flashback.
I really don't get what... I actually don't get what he's doing right now. I'm confused.
While Bill tries to land that joke home, shall we move on to number 6?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, someone in the comments can tell me what the joke mate was trying to imply, because I don't get it. I'm lost. I am lost like the holes in my sock.
So, Homelander joke.
Alright, so, moving right along. Number 6. Sauron versus Lich King.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Let me double check my list. I had it at exactly number 6.
this was my number 2. My top 3, which honestly, the other things I wouldn't mind if they were in different spots. My my top 3s, and this has so far been my least favorite ranking of this season with the lads.
Chill, relax.
No, I am pissed.
I had it at exactly number 6. You had it at number 2, you said. May?
10.
Ooh.
Fucking hell. In the top 10 at least, I'll give it that.
Plus, I just liked other episodes more. What can I say?
Well, you can start off the discussion then. So you had it the lowest.
Jesus. I'm going off these guys, people, if it isn't obvious.
Jeez, you have an opinion and everyone just gets on your case.
Oh, it's the internet, of course they do.
Yeah,
We all
true.
have that about a certain episode at some point.
Mate, do I need to remind you how you were when we had Shadow Ryuko lower?
Oh, don't remind me of that.
There you go, thanks for proving my point.
So May, why number 10?
I mean, I'll just get that one thing out of the way. I just enjoyed the other episodes that bit more. It's all I can really say.
There's
But
nothing that was bad or awkward or...
nothing that really comes to mind. Like, I just enjoyed other episodes more. That's all I can really say.
The thing that surprised me, given the fact we haven't talked about a certain episode on my podcast, let's just say you've frequently brought up a different opponent for one of the characters. I am actually surprised this is lower than that. Just saying.
I guess if May would like me to say why I have it at number 6, I will.
Oh, I was trying to remember what episode you were getting at.
Oh, I could give a hint because it was one of my reoccurring jokes.
No, I know what episode you mean, but
Okay.
for things that do like, okay, so analysis. Okay, for starters, Boomstick eating the One Ring.
That was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just too funny. Resisting so much to make a joke out of that I've already made. And as for the fight, I have to admit, like, okay, this might be a slight gripe, but it was like explaining the post-analysis. I was just confused with like a few things happening, but then the post-analysis like cleared things up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's literally the only other thing I can really say. It's not even really a criticism, it's just me being stupid. At least I admit that. Yeah, environment is gorgeous. The voices, oh my god. Like, kudos to both voice actors on that. They nailed it, I think. And that, like, I want to say stare down with the two eyes. Like, that was just a really cool shot. Oh, and also Sauron just making that mountain explode behind him as he, like, uses the ring. And you've got, like, ice, fire, like, that was just really cool.
Cool.
Hey, that pun was lit.
And just like that, the pun off is burnt out.
Oh, come on, like, chill out.
If you like making puns so much, why don't you put a ring on it? Just, mate, please put this in the episode of how Sean was.
I will.
Okay, that's enough jokes. For now, no promises.
Yeah, I'll let one of you guys go.
Sean, I guess you're next.
I had
you want to
this
hear one more
numbers-
pun?
Oh.
Yeah, I guess we'll have a throwdown. Okay, stop. Sorry, I was really hanging on to that one for a while.
Okay, so I had this at number 6. I had almost made the top 5. But one thing that just kept it out of the top 5 for me was you have to know these characters very well to understand what the death was. Like,
kind of.
Yeah, I think that's the only like little nitpick that I have between this and my number 5, because they were both great. But if I had to say like one flaw for Sauron and Lich King, it was that thing that just barely kept it out of top 5.
Death was pretty weak, but I do think maybe they could have had it. Maybe the Lich King was, I don't know, maybe he was turned back to his human form and then Sauron walked up to him and just stomped on his head. Maybe something like that.
So basically, Apocalypse Black Adam him.
Yeah, I suppose that, but that they could have. I think it would be fitting for Sauron, but he did it once because, like, at that point, Lich King's lost his powers, and of course, Sauron's known for like dominating. So there's that dominance.
Also, 18 Captain Marvel.
And there's a lot of deaths that tend to repeat a certain like kill shot, and you know. Anyway, Sean, carry on.
You know what wasn't a stop? This whole debate. No one had a consensus at the end of the day between these two.
Yeah, that is true. This was kind of. I think this Scarlet Witch versus Tanner and Vegeta versus Gogeta was very divisive, especially on the polls on Twitter. It's like when I was looking at Mate's Twitters, it would either be a landslide for one or the other. These two were kind of like off one another.
Right. So models look. So now that I talked about the only nitpick I have, I'll get to the positive side to make Billy a little bit happy, I guess.
There's no joy in this video.
So Ryan Solis debuted as Sauron. Now you can insert your obviously noob voice actor joke here, hardy har har, because he's a newbie. But I think he did Sauron really well, despite they don't play a clip in the analysis with Sauron's English voice.
Yeah, they could have at least thrown in an "I see you." Like that's one of his most iconic catchphrases.
As far as the analysis goes, not the fight, because they did that in the fight.
No, I meant that in the analysis. Just maybe when they said Sauron, then they played that sound clip.
Yeah, I think the analysis was definitely entertaining. The whole pun on Sauronite and Saronite for Lich King in his analysis, hilarious.
I forgot about that.
And also, of course, they gave the Lich King the best power, which is walking.
And patience. Like, he must have the sorest arse in all of World of Warcraft. He's like, I'm sure eventually someone will come and fight me. Been a good
Do
point
you
that they
also not
invented
see
Netflix
that
in this world.
Do you not see that throne? Why do you think Sauron took it after he killed him? He's like, this chair's actually comfy. Too bad I'm gonna melt it and fall on my ass.
True.
I still want to see someone make a comic of that.
I mean, Bill could commission. We could all commission that AG person to do it. I guess.
I'm just picturing Sauron calling IKEA. The chair melted. It's like, yeah, but you're not the person who bought it. I killed him, so I own it. That's not how it works.
I pay you money, and now it's mine. But I like the Frozen Throne, even though it wasn't exactly like it's supposed to be.
I guess the models were ripped right out of the games.
Yeah, actually, Lich King was not ripped out of World of Warcraft. It was Heroes of the Storm.
Oh.
Thank you, Torok, for that info.
And the Sauron model was right from Shadow of Mordor, I believe.
I think so, yes. I've heard someone say it's probably the mobile game, but I don't think so.
It's much more detailed, and I think I remember in one of the DLC, because then Sauron's armor has always gone through drastic changes in like the franchise. It's really weird. There's never been a consistent design. That one, it's meant to make him look taller instead of more like shot, like bladed up and like muscular.
Yeah.
I do remember the Shadow of Mordor franchise having a more taller Sauron.
Is it weird now? I'm just picturing Sauron going, "Look how yoked I am."
Accurate.
Before we try go on, Shaw, do you want to finish or?
That actually hurt my throat to do a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'll finish with a couple more points. Soundtrack in the fight done by Darewolf was really well done. I didn't know it was a lyrical track until Darewolf actually said on Twitter that it was. He posted like a spreadsheet of like not just the notes but the actual lyrics to the fight. And I love that staring contest. I remember my reaction when Fireball got so hyped for that.
What if it's just referred to as the staring contest?
What would you call it?
The stare down.
I like staring contest because, well, let's be real, we're not going to get Deathstroke versus Captain America, are we?
Maybe not. But I think the only other thing I can say about this fight was that it was really well done. The conclusion for the explanation they gave because of how close this was, I think makes sense.
Yeah,
It
just
legit came
one has so much more experience and it's just about twice as strong.
Yeah. It was that close at the end of the day, and this episode was executed really well to the point that World of Warcraft YouTubers such as Asmongold actually watched this episode.
Yeah, I saw his reaction to that, and I think this was like his first death battle. He was like, "Whoa, they actually do a fight as well."
Yeah, and at the end of it, he actually even agreed with the result that Battle came up with.
He was very skeptical
But, you know-
at first, but he was also like, "Okay, but fair enough. I hear their arguments."
Yeah, but speaking of big fans of a certain franchise and character, Bill, this was your number 2, and you never talked about it on Lads. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah!
Yep, I know. because one, birthday, Billy Ween, and moving. A lot of shit was going on.
That's 3 reasons, not 1. Learn to count.
Okay, fourth reason, fuck you. Okay, so I should make this clear. Okay, let me make this clear. Yes, I do agree with the positions of my top 3, but I'm not legit angry, in case people take me very literally. Okay, so why is this my number 2? First of all, when they teased Sauron was going to be one of the combatants for this season, I was hyped. Sauron's a really cool villain, and not sure I don't think I bring it up often on my channel and even with these guys. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan.
No!
I love it. Come on, you didn't even know that until you did the Bill Knows Nothing quiz.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I love the adventure. I grew up with the movies. Like they still hold up so well to this day. It's illegal. It should be illegal to look this good many years later. And as for Sauron himself, fucking badass villain. Like I've read a little bit of the novels featuring him because he doesn't get much screen time in other adaptations. It's surprising, really. Of course, he was going up against Lich King. Never knew anything about him. I only knew about World of Warcraft through games and South Park. I was really surprised to learn that, wow, World of Warcraft's lore is big. Like, bigger than Jabba the Hutt. And yeah, I was actually really interested in learning about the Lich King. That's what I like about when a Death Battle introduces me to new characters. I get to learn about this character and realize just, wow, I can see why people like this character, and I can understand why they're pairing him with da-da-da. For the fight itself, I mean, these guys already talked about what I liked about the analysis. I'm not just going to repeat it. I don't know. I will just repeat someone else's point for my own.
Yeah, who does that?
Well, Bill, I do want to ask you, because like you didn't get the chance to, do you think they handled Sauron well in the analysis?
Oh, amazingly. Like, they really showed just how much of a badass he is. It's like, yeah, he doesn't get much screen time in the movies and video games. They really do go into deep, like... Even I didn't know this. I didn't know that the literal god of Lord of the Rings essentially tried to nuke the bastard, and he just went, no, you. I was like, wow, that is badass.
The guy's just like, I know you got rid of him, Sauron. Hi, I still live.
Pretty much.
Or it'd be like that scene in Last Jedi where Luke walks out of the smoke and just lightly dusts one of his shoulders.
That would be Sauron. That would be him to a T. As for the fight itself, first of all, I just have to say it was so badass. Because the thing about these characters is not just how fast they are or their power, it's their dominance in the fight. Both these two were trying to show one up another, not from just their power, but just like how they feel they're in control of the fight. Sauron like grabbing Lich King by his throat, going, "I'll tear out your heart." But then Lich King just replying, "You'll find nothing there," and immediately like smacking him away with his sword, then creating a snowstorm to show like, because it wasn't. Both these two never felt intimidated throughout most fights. You usually get those in fights where a character goes wide-eyed, they're like, "Uh-oh." In this fight, it was more so annoyance. It was basically a dick fighting contest, really. A nice way to put it. As for the fight itself, yeah, it was great. Something right out of World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings. And Sauron blowing up a mountain, just going, "I see you." And even the bit where it's rain and fire, Sauron and Lich King are just like in the distance clashing, and you just hear the shockwaves. And without doubt, my favourite moment is, Sauron's impaled, Lich King goes, "You serve me now," and Sauron just angrily, "I serve no one." And he just turns into the iron. The orchestra for that bit is beautiful. like Sauron just staring down the Lich King, going, "Witness the prophecy of your doom." Lich King just replying back by summoning his own giant eye and just going, "You speak nothing but lies." Just brilliant. And of course, Sauron undoubtedly had the best fuck you at the end of the fight. "There is no life in the void, only death," and just sucks away his soul, which is a line from the books.
I just also love when you see the KO, before that KO showed up, you did not believe Sauron actually won, but as soon as KO went up, your face lit up so bright.
I was really worried that, is the Lich King is it gonna do like a Mardra and Eisen thing where Mardra just appeared behind him and just finished him off, like Lich King just taking over his body and being like, "Haha, no you."
That sounds like my reaction when I watched Hulk v Broly for the first time.
Right. And just a bit where someone he doesn't do like some big, epic, "Yeah, I won." He just sits down on the throne like, "Right, back to business." And the smoke, the steam that came off the ice throne, and someone just looks upon the destruction he caused. That is how you make an intimidating villain. Brilliant. And they really captured his character. And I know I've taken up a lot of this podcast because of my enjoyment of the top 3 for me. So I won't have much to say about the other ones. I just really wanted to talk about my top 3 most of all. So that's all I've got to say for this episode. It was fantastic. Not at number 1 just because of how good the Omni-Man vs. Homelander was, but definitely worthy of being number 2. I'll stop fanboying now because I know I'm getting more hyper.
Alright, so I guess we're on to the top 5.
Yeah.
Yay!
Dude.
Alright, number 5. Trunks vs. Silver.
Definitely higher than where I had it.
That's actually at my number 5. And I think, yeah, that's deserving. It was a really good episode. I think we went into this episode with not much expectations until they revealed the twist.
Alright, so
I
Phil,
have
you
it
had
as
it at 5. Sean?
11.
Alright, so I guess this is the part where I say I have this at number 1.
Really?
Ooh.
Okay, this is your number. Okay, there was a fight that I really thought was going to be at number 1, but I'm really surprised.
Same.
Okay, this is interesting because
Alright.
just going to make a comment mate, this is an episode you were dreading for so many years, yet ironically, it's your number 1 this season.
I'll get to that, trust me.
That's an interesting character development.
By the way, I just like to say, I like this little setup we have with the person who has the lowest goes first. I think that's a nice little touch that we've done this year.
I don't even think that was planned, we just did it on the spot.
Yeah, but speaking of, I had this at the lowest out of all 3 of us because I had this at number 11. Biggest reason for it, though, I learned nothing about Trunks. Absolutely nothing. I learned more about Dragon Ball Heroes than I learned about Trunks. And that is a big no-no. Because again, I don't watch Dragon Ball that much, so I'm like, okay, I can learn about the son of Vegeta, not the Prince of Vegeta, that's a separate channel. And I'm like, I actually didn't learn that much about Trunks. I'm kind of sad now.
Yeah, I guess we're already diving into the Xenoverse one. And yeah, it's a bit awkward. It really feels like they were expecting you to know of Trunks due to how popular he is.
Yeah, I'll admit that was a bit of a weird way of going about the analysis. Just like, yeah, you know Trunks. Well, how about this version? Might have been better if you had him in Death Battle before.
Yeah, going back to Shadow Ryuko real quick, it's kind of like the whole, weaker analysis portion for one character, but good analysis for another character. I thought Archie Silver's analysis was pretty good. And Hedge of Tomorrow is a good soundtrack. Come on, Hedge of Tomorrow? You couldn't call it Edge of Tomorrow?
Because Hedgehog.
It's meant to be a pun.
I know, but I think Edge of Tomorrow is a more badass name. I'm sorry.
And also, just your distaste of puns, as this video has proven.
Jeez, I wonder why. It's not like I'm stuck with two masterful pun makers here.
I still remember when I was talking to Max about it, and I just say that's what the track is called, and he just goes, I hate how clever that is.
Yes, you could say they didn't have time to think of a good one.
Speaking of the track, though, have you guys seen, actually, the guest vocalist, Logan Adams, actually posted a video of him actually showing people that he actually did this song, the lyrics for the song. And I gotta say, Logan is really talented. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, same.
We do need a Logan 2 movie. We're talking about the same Logan, right?
No, Logan Adams. Really.
I know, I just saw an opportunity to reference one of my favorite movies of all time.
I think the fight was pretty dope. A little bit of janking at the start, but rigging is very hard. I understand that.
We have a sprite they had to make from the ground up.
Yeah.
I do have to kind of ask though, would you guys have been against if they just used like his classic sprite with already made on sprite sheets and stuff?
I probably wouldn't have,
so.
But at the same time, I like that they did go the extra mile and just make a sprite for the Xenoverse version.
Yeah, because when they did this with Sonic, there's no specific Archie Sonic sprites or anything, to my knowledge. But, for this one, for Trunks, we knew we were getting Xenoverse Trunks, so they had to make it look like Xenoverse to kind of make it work. Silver's analysis, again, was really well done. The fight was amazing. Kaiser Neko, his username, which is an interesting choice to say the least. I thought he did really good as Trunks. I see why people like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been voicing him in the Deep Sea Bridge for a long time. So
imagine how he felt though as soon as they said, no, this is Xenoverse Trunks, and he just oh.
I still wonder how he felt is just when the sneak peek came out and so many people were asking, is that Kaiser? Did they get Kaiser? Are they gonna get Kaiser? And it's just yes.
Oh,
he is the definitive Trunks in my opinion.
I can understand why. But back to Silver. Isu honesty was fantastic in his debut for Death Battle. As it definitely feels like, gee, has he voiced Silver somewhere else?
No idea who you're talking about, really. I'm pretty sure he's probably been in other indie projects.
Yeah, perhaps from a game I played like Wasteland 3. Nah, probably not.
Oh no, I have to actually ask, has he actually voiced a character in Wasteland 3?
Kendall.
Really?
Yes.
Also
voiced characters in Danganronpa.
I can never look at that character the same way ever again. I'm just I'm just waiting for him to go, it's no use.
Yeah, the fact they used that so well twice in both a comedic and badass way was amazing.
Oh, I have so much to say about those.
And I have to point this out, because in my reaction, I remember how high-pitched Fireball got at that ending. Oh my god. That was brutal in a separate kind of way. Impalement and then getting erased from existence? Ouch!
Yeah.
Impaled with his own sword, too.
Yeah, because Silver does an Uno reverse card of his own.
Yeah, and then of course Psychokinesis turns off any of his tech, while the sword turns off his powers.
Yeah, again, the biggest reasons I have it like this low, I do think it's the weakest of the 3 Dragon Balls we got, mostly because I didn't learn that much about Trunks. And the little bit of jankiness that we did have, that's kind of noticeable at the start. That's like the biggest reasons I have it where I have it. So, Bill, you have this at number 5.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much because I feel like I have taken up a lot talking about Omni-Man versus Homelander and Sauron versus Lich King. I know May wants to go all ham on this, so...
To be fair, those were your
I'm going
numbers
whole
1
hog.
and 2. Okay,
Fair enough.
Roadhog main.
No,
Okay,
Sean, it's because Hedgehog.
I know, but I wanted to make a Roadhog joke.
Any opportunity to make an Overwatch joke. Alright, so I'll be quick. Yes, I know both these characters. I played Sonic. As a kid, I played through Sonic 06 thinking it was a good game. But that aged poorly. Silver's character in the games is not that interesting. The comic, on the other hand, pretty interesting character. And Trunks, yeah, I do think Trunks is an okay character. I don't love him like how everyone else does. In saying that though, yeah, even if this wasn't Xenoverse versus Archie, I still would have been quite hyped just to see these two fight. I have grown to like it over the years, and yeah, this fight gave me everything I wanted when it came to these two super forms fighting one another. I even like the little extras they gave them for like Xenoverse or even the cards to help them out, and I'm pretty sure mate's going to go into detail about the final bit of the death, especially the line Silver has. It was pretty badass, so that's why I have it slightly upper on my list. Analysis, well, it's alright. I didn't laugh too much, but I enjoyed it. And I do frequently listen to the soundtrack, and the reason I even have it a bit more higher, it spawned an amazing meme. Lads.
Yeah, fun story. When I did that,
in a way.
when we did that, I got so much credit, and I tried to tell people, no, Z-Dog did this, and Z-Dog was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks!
Just the memes that were created from this were fantastic.
And then Death Battle themselves tried to do the same thing with SpongeBob Aquaman. You're welcome for the idea, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, Lewis.
Ben, if you're listening to this, we're not demanding royalties. Give us some fucking royalties, mate.
I'm saying that in a joking way as well. Just
I'm saying joking with it. I want that on a shirt if I ever make merchandise. Give us fucking royalties. It works on 2 levels. Alright then, so mate, you have this as your number 1. So
Yeah,
explain to us why it's your number 1.
still feels weird to me. Because, like,
I can imagine.
well, over the years, I've always looked at this request and been like, I don't want this. Because I really just saw it as just like, okay, so it's just going to be a repeat of Vegeta Shadow, right? And, like, I get the theme and everything, but like I said, it's just going to be a repeat, and I'm just going to be waiting. Okay, so Trunks is just going to murder Silver, like, easy. That's basically my mindset whenever I went into it. But then over a while I started to hear the idea of like bringing in Archie and Xenoverse, and I thought, okay, I'm actually slightly intrigued by that idea. I just doubt Death Battle are gonna do it. Cue my reaction to the announcement, which got made into a meme.
That's true.
Just the disappointment on my face, and then you see Archie Sonic, and it's just like, wait, what?
I think even Death Battle themselves are aware, yes, this would have just been Shadow versus Vegeta all over again.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
thing,
they even said as much on like cast and commentary.
And people are still pushing for more Dragon Ball versus Sonic characters. Like, I remember seeing Amy versus Chi-Chi, and I don't get it. Sean's reaction summed it up.
Like, I get it. Dragon Ball Sonic, the comparison is there.
Yeah, it's so...
Eh. Like, we've done Vegeta Shadow, we've done Trunks Silver. I don't really think we need any more, because okay, with Archie, the Hedgehogs win. Without, the Saiyans win. There we go.
Weirdly enough, there is one fight that I do kind of like. Maybe not for a death battle, maybe for a DBX, Krillin versus Tails. Obviously, would I want this as a death battle? No. Not a DBX. I could see the creativity there. I may continue. Sorry, just rambled on. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, as for the analysis, I just really like that music that they use when they go into, like, the key sword for Trunks. Just how, like, grandiose it sounds as they're building it up, and just, like, the whole thing about him taking out Mickey Carver in one strike. Also, just, like, the joke of just, like, and Trunks has a sword he got from the Hero of Time! No, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, that guy. Showing, like, Link, Chrono, who was also a popular request for Trunks. And then finally, Tapion, there we go, I forgot what his name was for a moment there. And, like, the key sword show a Keyblade.
Yeah.
Let's be real, you hear key sword, that's what you think.
I think with the years of so many swordsmen in anime, there's not going to be much room for original type of ideas.
Yeah, and of course, like, okay, I'll admit the Yu-Gi-Oh! References got a giggle out of me. Like, how Trunks inspired a card, which I actually didn't know about. And the whole, like, yeah, and you thought he was cool before he went full Seto Kaiba. Hey, maybe a Yu-Gi-Oh! Character appears in Death Battle, who knows? Like, it depends on how they do it.
Hint, nudge, nudge. Poke.
And after we got Flash vs. Archie Sonic, I did want to see more Archie reps. Did not think Silver would be the next one. Which did take me a bit by surprise. I would have thought they would have gone with Knuckles next, but hey, like, still got this episode, I'm happy about that. And, okay, look, just that whole gag of Boomstick being so mind-blown about, like, maybe Archie exists in the same universe as Spawn? For some reason.
Even me, I was just like, that can't be an official comic. That
It is.
has to be a joke.
Dude,
That happened.
Archie Spawn versus Cosmic Ghost Rider. Go nuts.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't go beyond that one panel.
Like, I know they've crossed over Mega Man, Street Fighter, so I wasn't too surprised Archie's crossed over. But the fact it's crossed over with Spawn, like, all characters in comics.
Yeah, it is just that one sequence. It's just like, can you help? No. But it doesn't really go beyond that, from what I've heard.
I know, it was just a cameo.
And just the way Boomstick is so fixated on it, just like, I'm sorry, can you go back to the part about Sonic the Hedgehog meeting motherfucking Spawn?
I mean, wouldn't you be like that if, like, you're watching Ruby and suddenly they're in, like, oh, I don't know, the boys universe?
Oh, God.
They meet, like, Black Noir. Like, you would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, honestly. So, fair enough, I just thought the reaction was funny. And how they keep that up, even to the point, it's just like, talking about the Super Genesis wave, how it, like, rewrote everything. Oh no, what about... Yes, even Spawn. Oh, thanks, Satan.
I forgot that.
And, by the way, Death Battle Curse struck again, because they bring that up. Detail of a Spawn movie got announced. Like, not long after this episode, which I thought was hilarious.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Even have our own sort of curse for lads discuss Death Battle.
Yeah.
Oh, and again, just like going back, like the whole like how nuts the Archie multiverse is. Like, admittedly, it's just through showing like, okay, here's all these different versions of Sonic, but still just kind of insane, even if it's just like in the background. And I just get a big smile on my face every time I rewatch these. Now as for the fight itself, okay, I need to sing his praises so damn much. Brandon Yates, like, oh, like, I can't even really express just how great he is. Like, hit after hit after hit.
Ow, stop hitting me.
Sorry.
Kind of want you to edit my face just being punched now, but I don't know, that'll be too much work.
No, that's too much. Like, the moment I heard this in the, like, sneak peek, I could not stop rewatching it, and just, like, just everything that was happening alongside it. Like, of course, like, Kaiser as Trunks, like, no-brainer. He was an absolute must, and he did a phenomenal job. Silver's voice actor? Quite surprised to hear him, and this was also the time I learned of a certain other voice actor who voices Silver in official media. So that kind of blew my mind. Just a little behind the scenes thing. And just everything that happened, like the ring getting thrown, Silver knocking Trunks into a dystopian future. Like, the moment they both go super, and Silver's acting cocky, like, ha, you see, it's no use! While Trunks is right behind him, not impressed at all, just calling him a ripoff. Callback! And just look at Silver's face the moment he realizes it didn't work and Trunks is right behind him. He's just like, oh crap. Right before getting sent flying to the moon. Like, I had so many thoughts for how they would use, like, because they had to throw an "it's no use" in there at least once. I was worried it would get overused, like in merely how it was in 1 Minute Melee, where he just goes, "It's no use, it's no use, it's no use." Like,
that did get really annoying.
Yeah, I was worried they'd fall into that same trap, but thank God they didn't. They used it once, which was hilarious. And I was a little surprised to hear that they brought back the crab baskets line. Just sees shards of the moon flying at him. Ah, crab baskets. Which, okay, I have to admit, if it were me, I probably would have had Silver say that line and Trunks say it's no use. Like, I just thought that would have been a little cute.
Oh, like when Hulk and Broly had their lines switched.
Yeah, admittedly. Plus, I think Trunks in the Xenoverse manga has said it's no use before. I just remember hearing that in the lead-up. So I thought it would have fit. Just, dude, everything in space, like when the cards are thrown out, like Goku and Pan, GT nod. And you just see dead Oolong in the background.
Let's be real, we've all wanted to see him dead.
And when Silver, like, joins all their energy blasts, Trunks powers through it, going God, just to deck Silver in the face. And that God final flash, Jesus, that looked beautiful. Also, freeze frame that moment, you see another Silver oh crap face right before he fires it. Just like, the tiny details they go into with this. It's like, oh, I appreciate it so much. I love it. And after they do that whole, like, time breaky thing with the Chronos Control, Eternal Time Labyrinth clash, just all the cameos they snuck in to the Crack of Time. Like, I spent so long looking at that shot. Just, like, trying to find as many people as I could. That was just great. And, look, when it comes to the fight, the icing on the cake has got to be when Trunks readies his sword, goes in for that final strike. Silver says, "I told you, it's no use." And I okay. Huge kudos to the animators, Silver's voice actor, Liam for writing this. How did you take that meme and make it sound badass? How is this possible?
Because Speed Force.
Chaos Force.
Chaos Force, yeah, why not? I don't know how to explain shit. It's commendable, because I remember 1 Minute Main, I can't remember what fight it was, they did try and make a character look cool based on a meme. And it was just kind of forgettable. It was just kind of a throwaway line. I remember what it was. That's how forgettable it was.
Yeah, but like... God, I was surprised with how much I loved this episode. And just given how long I didn't want to see this. Like, I think that... like. Okay, I was torn between this episode and another episode, which we'll get to, for which one will be my favorite. I think just for how long I didn't want to see this, and then it just turned out to be that good. Yeah, I think that that puts it over the other one just a bit for me. Also, behind the scenes fact, this was the first episode I watched after my surgery, where... yeah, that was a rough time for me.
Yay.
So I needed a fun episode, and I got it in spades. I cannot sing this episode's praises any higher.
It's a good episode. I really like it. I am happy that this episode was such a turnaround for you when it came to this matchup in general.